Let's get into it. Sold Not For Sale podcast. Coach Colin here. We got Joe Rogan, Adam Ray, and they're talking about Kamala Harris. And Joe Rogan, for some reason, is just so impressed by this clip. Check it out. He's just over the moon impressed by this. Thinks that this could win the presidency.
Because as the saying goes, if you've got something to say,
That's right. That's it. That's all. No policies, nothing like that. But we're going to hear him out on this because he talks about a whole lot. He also explains what he meant when he was talking about RFK in a later episode that he's done. You know, the whole endorsement fiasco that happened. He's going to explain that a little bit. He's going to talk about Kamala Harris a little bit. And what he's really wondering is how she's going to do in a debate with Donald Trump where you're not going to be able to be scripted versus when she does things like that were obviously very, very scripted. So let's hear Joe Rogan out real quick. Here's the clip, guys. Let's go.
He's been on tons of helicopters.
It's all the, you know what she was saying? You know what she was saying? Like, he doesn't have an attack strategy. That's, I don't think, you know, this is what I was trying to say when everybody got mad at me when I said what I liked about JFK Jr., or RFK Jr., excuse me. Robert F. Kennedy is a guy who just goes after issues. He goes after actions. He talks about things. This, like, Trump has, like, always in the past, like, attacked. He's like, attack people. And it's just, in this case, I feel like, I don't know if what they're doing right now, the way they're elevating, I don't know if she's ever going to debate him.
They locked one in, I think, September 10th.
What is that going to be like when she's off screen, off grid, off paper?
I don't know.
Off script.
Wild.
Just completely able to say whatever she wants to say. And if we get one of those,
you kind of got to match Trump a little bit with his, you know, fearless. Like, you know, nobody has risen to the level of his, you know. I'm just going to kind of interrupt and combat everything you say. Like, I feel like you have to go toe to toe and be in the ring. You can't be there and kind of just
100%. But I do have to say that one speech that she gave right after they decided that she was going to be the nominee, that one speech where she said, "If you're going to say something, why don't you say it to my face?" It was great timing.
It was middle school recess.
It wasn't just that, man. The way that she delivered it was, like, very clear. It was prepared, right? And so that means, like, she's coachable, you know? So, so she figured out how to deliver a banger of a speech, right? Like, play that because it's pretty powerful.
Yeah, I think she'll have something to say back to him.
No, but this is the thing. That's a speech.
Yeah.
But when you go to toe, when you're just talking off the top of your head, that's where she has some issues.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think people lock up when they know that everybody is criticizing every word they're saying, and you're applying for a job as essentially the mom of the world.
Oh wow.
Or the dad of the world. You know, if he wins, that's what you are. You're the fucking dad of the free world, right?
What if she just does a Biden impression? Goes, "You're a sucker. You're a sucker." Just throws it right back at him.
There's so many people watching you. Your brain just freezes up with anxiety. But listen to this. This is amazing. This is really.
Here's the thing. Here's the funny thing about that. So he won't debate, but he and his running mate sure seem to have a lot to say about me. And by the way, don't you find some of their stuff to just be plain weird? Well, Donald,
damn.
They knew it was coming.
Bro, she nailed it.
Yeah, she nailed that.
She nailed that.
How do you think?
So that alone can get you the president. This is we're in idiocracy. That alone, like that is.
You get a couple banger sound bites, right?
You can't say that's not outstanding.
Totally.
She just crushed it. She crushed it.
Yeah.
She had the big moment.
Oh, I'm tuning in. This is pay-per-view now.
She had the big moment and she crushed it.
Yeah.
And she did it without any ums or stammers, no fucking missed words. She had a smile. The laugh made sense. It made sense there.
Yeah.
For the first
time. It was
time.
in context.
When she laughs, like sometimes she laughs like out of nerves,
Totally.
it seems like.
Yeah.
Just try to get everybody to feel lighter about the situation.
Yeah.
But that wasn't that one. That was like a genuine smile and a laugh. Crushed it.
Yeah.
That's a problem. And I don't think they thought she was going to be able to do that. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You can fucking coach somebody, bro. It ain't hard. I mean, maybe she just practiced.
Who are these coaches? Just public speakers and stuff?
Oh yeah, public speaking coaches. Yeah, there's political speech analysts. There's people that
imagine if there's
teach
comedians.
people how
What
to
if David
teach.
Lucas gets hired to give her like some one-liners?
Listen,
I mean, there's a crazy world where there's shit like that, where there's somebody goes, you need a couple zingers in your back pocket. I don't know.
100%.
Because if that's not your world and your brain doesn't operate like that, Trump's does. Trump is looking at like, you know, to make a little put down, or he's just quick in that way.
Listen,
So
he is quick in that way. Also, it would behoove him to hire a few great comics to just tour with him and just write one-liners about all these different fucking people.
I mean,
If he could remember them, I mean,
Oh,
I know he
God.
likes to go off his own head, but
Sure.
if he could remember a few Hinchcliffe bangers, if he hires Hinchcliffe to take him on the road, do you know how fucking insane that would be?
yeah, dude.
Hinchcliffe writing bangers for Trump shit on people.
Comedy cures, and it also is like sometimes what kind of just pushes things over the top.
The
Dude.
thing you're getting from him is, you know, no one is coaching him. Right, you know he's going off the cuff.
Yeah.
You know nobody gets to tell him what to do. When he goes out there and he talks about things, it's like he's just off the cuff, and that's why it gets sideways sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, it gets a little fumbly sometimes. But what I'm saying is that what she did was like a pro. She did that like a pro.
Yeah.
That's where it gets dangerous, because
You don't think that was calculated? You think that was off the cuff, like just responding to what was? Yeah.
No, that was a 100% planned out thing.
Yeah.
100% and well executed.
Yeah.
Like she fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
The problem is that's what we're looking for. It's not even necessarily who has the best policies for the country. It's not necessarily who's going to make real reform, who's really going to change things and make it better for everybody, versus who looks like the kind of person who should be president. Who's talking like a leader? Who's got the whole audience? Say it to my face, and the whole bro.
What if that
that's a
becomes your
mic
catchphrase?
drop. That's a mic drop.
Yeah, you're going around to every country. I mean, there's going to be those T-shirts. That's your I Carumba if you're Bart Simpson.
Well, that's a bit of a problem, is that she does repeat the same speeches over and over and over again in these speeches. So they have all these compilations of her saying things in the exact same order.
Oof, yeah, you got to mix it up.
But this is the thing that they like about Trump, is that he does not do that. When Trump goes up there, he is more than capable of talking for an hour and a half straight, be entertaining. He cracks on things. He says funny things. Like he was joking around about Biden wandering around, not knowing where he is. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
He was like he was a comic. He was killing.
I know.
And I guarantee you, he probably had an idea in his head that he's going to shit on Biden. Probably, had an idea how he's going to do it. But that's like just being a free baller.
Yeah.
You're up there free balling. He's the only one that can do that.
People do respond to that too.
Yes.
Everybody does, like you said, want to look at somebody and go, oh, they represent us. Well, the same way, like if you have a agent or manager, right? You want them, if they're out in public, you go, oh, are they an extension of me in a certain way? So
You want to see the best at it?
Yeah.
Clinton,
Oh,
when
man.
he was running for president the first time.
Bro,
Bro,
put on a
let me
clinic.
tell you something, dude. He's the fucking Michael Jordan of those motherfuckers.
I can't argue with that,
Dude,
yeah.
old school titty grabber. From
They probably called tits bazoombas, you know?
Bro, he was an animal. And
Played the sax
and
on
this
Arsenio.
guy smooth talked
Yeah.
better than, and he was like, that's the president.
Yeah.
You hear him talk, you're like, that's our guy.
Exactly right.
Listen to this motherfucker talk. Oh, well, let me just get a speech when he was. This is when he's the president.
We'd never seen that.
He's the president. He's playing saxophone. Give me a little bit of that. Let me hear it. Slinging before the internet,
I mean,
son.
up until this point, we'd seen footage of like Nixon playing Go Fish. There was no cool president doing.
No, he was the coolest ever.
Even,
Look at this.
You know people who've lost their jobs and lost their homes? Well, I've been governor of a small state for 12 years. I'll tell you how it's affected me. Every year, Congress and the president sign laws that make us do more things and gives us less money to do it with. I see people in my state, middle-class people, their taxes have gone up in Washington and their services have gone down, while the wealthy have gotten tax cuts. I have seen what's happened in this last 4 years. When in my state, when people lose their jobs, there's a good chance I'll know them by their names. When a factory closes, I know the people who ran it. When the businesses go bankrupt, I know them. And I've been out here for 13 months, meeting in meetings just like this ever since October, with people like you all over America. People that have lost their jobs, lost their livelihood, lost their health insurance. What I want you to understand is the national debt is not the only cause of that. It is because America has not invested in its people. It is because we have not grown. It is because we've had 12 years of trickle-down economics. We've gone from 1st to 12th in the world in wages. We've had 4 years where we produce no private sector jobs. Most people are working harder for less money than they were making 10 years ago. It is because we are in the grip of a failed economic theory. And this decision you're about to make better be about what kind of economic theory you want. Not just people saying, I'm going to go fix it, but what are we going to do? What I think we have to do is invest in American jobs, American education, control American health care costs, and bring the American people together again.
Okay, stop. If that guy runs right now, he wins. That guy runs right now, he blows everybody out of the water.
Easy listening
the
voice.
Democrats come home with like every state. That guy wins.
Can you do that? He can't jump back in, right?
No,
you did it.
No, he
Once
can't.
you did too.
He's not the same guy anymore.
Right.
He's definitely not the same guy anymore. Body count through the roof. He's a different animal nowadays. The things people would be able to yell at this guy, the things that would come up, the things that people would bring up, the situations, the people. You guys, you know what I mean? Everybody knows what I mean when I say that, you know, when it comes to that family, the people that have, you know, heaven, anyway. You know what's funny about that? And again, this is back to Joe Rogan thinks everybody can be president. There you go. Right. So you can't be mad when he suggests somebody can be president or win because, he thinks that about everybody. But it's funny to hear Bill Clinton say all that because Trump was kind of the extension of that, because Trump was concerned about everything Bill mentioned, right? The trickle down and not investing in Americans. But Trump took it a step further and he started looking to see, why are we paying all these people and why aren't these people paying us? It was kind of the second coming of everything that Bill just said. It was interesting. And, in a way, that's why Trump won. The fact that he was pointing all that out and nobody else was talking about it, and nobody else was touching on it, it's kind of the reason that he won. Now, there's some things that get brought up here. Now, when it comes to what Joe's talking about, this clip here of Kamala Harris saying, say it to my face, this whole clip, I think Joe's missing the context. Now, again, she did say it properly. No one can deny that. Now, whether she crushed it and that can get you the presidency, that's opinion. You might feel like that's true. You might feel like that's a ridiculous take. Either way, all good. I respect both sides of that. I myself think it's a bit of a ridiculous take. But again, I know that I have bias. I was even, when I watched this clip before playing this video or recording this video, I tried to look at it. I'm like, let me look at this as if she was Trump's VP. And I still couldn't see anything that good about the clip. But I do understand that she did the timing. She paused for the crowd. She said the thing. She got the big response. She basked in the response. That's how you're supposed to do it. So I get what Joe's saying there, but the whole context to this is she's saying you should say this to my face because she was running with the narrative that the mainstream media and her campaign together put together that Trump was afraid to debate her. And this whole thing was because Trump was saying he's willing to debate Biden on a certain day and time, certain network. And then Kamala just steps in and she goes, well, I'm here. Are you ready? And Trump's like, I'm not doing it on this network with these rules for you. You're 20 years younger than me. If we're doing it, I want to do it the way we've always done these debates. That's how I want to do it. Unscripted. We both have microphones. They're not getting muted. We get to talk out these ideas and concepts. I get to confront you. You can confront me. That's what I want. He's like, and on top of that, I want 10,000 people in the audience. Trump's like, scared? Trump's like, I'm excited. Let me get a whole stadium together. I'll pay. We can do Madison Square Garden. Kidding. I don't know where they're going to do it. But that's what Trump wanted. So she was going under the premise of, oh, you won't let me just fill in as Joe Biden and have all the same rules that Joe Biden gets. So you're obviously scared. And that's why I think that's why I can't see past this clip, because I know she's pushing this weird propaganda that Trump is scared when in reality, she knows that she should just push aside all the dates that Biden had because Biden's gone, and she should set up her own thing between her camp and Trump's camp, you know? But that's just me. At least I'm acknowledging my biases. Somebody wrote in the comments the other day, like, your bias is stronger than Dave Smith's bias, and you should know this. Whoever can admit their biases and actually has the mindset to actually say them out loud, they're the ones that are most aware. It's the reason that I do it. I don't just do it for you, I do it for myself as well, because it makes me in the thought process that I have a bias towards certain things. Now, the thing I found really interesting about the Joe Rogan clip is that the guest kind of felt like I did. Adam kind of felt like I did. He was like, oh, that's high school stuff when he was talking about the clip. And then Joe goes, it's more than that, man. It was actually great and the way she did it. And then he just started going, yeah. He just started agreeing. And I don't know if guests have to do that, or if they feel like they have to do that, or if they're just so nervous that they don't want to have to bump heads, because that would be even more nerve-wracking. I mean, the only people who have done that on the show is Michael Malice, Candace Owens, and Steven Crowder. Those are the only people who are like, I'm going to bump heads with you every step of the way because I feel like it and I do this. Those are the only people I've seen do it. But he actually did feel like I felt. He's like, this is nothing. But he just kind of went ahead. Then I guess moving on to Trump is not nervous. Trump is not nervous about this whole thing like Kamala Harris would be. There's no freezing up with Trump, because whether Trump speaks like a Nobel laureate or he speaks like a trucker, the mainstream's going to take it and make it negative anyway. So he's kind of freed by the fact that they're constantly on his back, you know? And just all in all, toe to toe with Donald Trump, unscripted, Kamala Harris is going to fall apart. I mean, that's what's going to happen. And that's why Joe's like, I wonder how that's going to look, because you can't imagine it. Because every time you've seen her with coherent sentences over and over again for a long period of time, it's always very, very, very scripted. And people keep talking like, oh, she's very young, right? I'm not saying this is true, okay? But people keep talking about how she's very young. She ain't young compared to me. She's going to be 60 very, very soon. Sometimes people's minds get away from them at that age. It's not something that happens when you're 80. Not everybody's lucky enough to live till 80, and the signs start coming up when you're in your 60s. So the whole thing of like, Trump is so old and she's not. She's almost a senior citizen, guys. Like, what are we talking about here? If you're like me, you're in your 30s, that's an old person. No, that's our mom. Like, what? I just found that very interesting. And then when he talks about Trump fumbling in his speeches, again, I know I got a bias, but I never see that. But also, it makes me wonder more than even like whether or not he fumbles. Who cares about that? An hour and a half, that's going to happen. Does Joe watch the full rallies? I wonder. That's a very telling little thing. Does Joe watch the whole thing? Because if he does, you know, Joe might be a little more MAGA than he's letting on. You know, only certain people can sit and watch a whole Trump rally and sit back. Like, I do that. But it's partly because I have to. I have to see what he says, you know, and I'm entertained. But no one on the left, no one in the center is sitting back watching a full thing to see Trump fumble through anything. So I just found that very interesting. Again, Adam, Ray, very solid conversation, very solid podcast. Joe touches on a bunch of different things. They get deep into comedy. They get deep into Adam and Dr. Phil and all of that stuff. It's very funny. So I would definitely check it out if I were you. Please like, subscribe, turn on the notifications to this podcast because it helps the channel tremendously. And other than that, I'm out.